I'm David Zettel, joined by Laramie head coach Chuck Syverson as we talk about another road trip this week for the Plainsmen, the longest one of the season, heading all the way to Evanston. Coach, that's never an easy road trip. How difficult, give me a sense of how difficult it is to travel that far in a bus and then get off trying to play a game to the best of your ability.
Sometimes it's hard, but I think we have a pretty good schedule worked in now where we break it up and take a rest area break, do a walk through, partway there, eat lunch. So we break it up a little bit, so it's not quite so bad, but it definitely takes a little while to get your legs back underneath you when you're on the bus that long, and hopefully they're not too groggy when they get off the bus. They tend to sleep a little bit, and so you have to make sure they're up and awake about an hour before we get there, and if they do that, I think we're usually okay. And sometimes we've had guys, I think, that think it's a little bit easier to play on the road, and so if they accept that challenge, then it's definitely an opportunity for us to do something good on Friday.
Obviously, Evanston is a team that's given us some difficulty where they've beat us at home. We beat them at their place, so the road team's won the last three. What has it been about this series where the road team's broken through the last 3 years?
It's kind of funny. I was actually talking to Coach Detail last night. He was up at practice, and he mentioned that same thing. When they played out there, they would win all the time, and at home they would lose. So I'm not sure what it is with that Evanston team that when they come here they do well, and we go there we do well. So it's just one of those things that's worked out, and it's been that way for quite a while. So I'm sure part of it is the distance you have to travel, part of it's a matchup thing, and so hopefully we'll be able to keep that streak going this year.
Talk about Evanston. What do they present in terms of challenges Friday night?
They're a physical running team. They've been pretty physical up front with us, so that's something we have to overcome a little bit. Haven't thrown the ball real well. They have a young quarterback, so we're going to have to get some pressure on him and make sure we don't let him get that confidence that he needs in the game. And defensively, they're a 4-3 multiple coverage team, but I think we have some advantages, especially with their corners. Their corners aren't very big, and I think with the size of the guys we have at receiver, we can take advantage of that.
I know last week had to be frustrating. Last two, really, you've turned the ball over. You had a couple block kicks. That's been kind of the difference in 2 losses. Where is the frustration level right now with your team sitting at 0-3 when you feel like maybe you could be 2-1?
You know, it's the same kind of thing. You know, we know what we have to work on, and the guys understand that. I think we've beaten ourselves more the last 2 weeks than a team has beaten us, and Rock Springs is a good team. I'm not taking anything away from them by any means, but you know, we take the turnovers away in that first half, I think that ends up being a different game. And last week, I think we didn't execute to the best of our ability. We had, 4 or 5 touchdowns I thought we left on the field, and it wasn't just the quarterback, it was some breakdowns in some other areas as well. So we just need to execute a little bit better offensively. Defensively, I thought we did a good job of keeping ourselves in the game last week, holding field goals rather than touchdowns. And if we can play that level of defense these next few weeks, we should be able to get a win.
Lastly, I know you guys have been hurt by the injury bug a little bit. How has that scrambling affected, if at all, your game plans?
It's been really difficult. We'd like to be a balanced team running and passing the ball. We knew we could focus on the pass a little bit more this year just with our personnel, but you definitely have to be able to run the ball to maintain that balance within your offense, and we've struggled running the ball, and there's just nothing that those guys up front, they're doing everything they can up front right now, and we're just outmanned a little bit, and so we've had to scheme a little bit more based on our personnel. Sometimes, offensively it's like you're focused more on different phases of your run game, and this year we've had to focus more on what can this individual do that can help us in the run game. And so this week, even more so than in the previous weeks, we've really had to focus on what can these guys do to help us be successful.
Well, let's get healthy with a win. How about that? That heals all, right?
that starts it. And then we definitely got to get some of those guys back up front. But our goal right now is finish top 6 and hopefully get in the top 5 or 4 and get that home playoff game. But if we can get top 6, I feel pretty good about where we're going forward now.
The Plainsmen head the long road trip to Evanston. Remember, kickoff's been pushed back to 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Friday night. You can listen to Verdon Hoops and myself with the broadcast call on KOWB. Starts at 5:30 with our coverage. But again, a 7 o'clock kickoff. It is Evanston's homecoming, so we'll see if the Plainsmen can play the role of spoiler.